It was the 9th of December 2009, and I just woke up and I could not move. It was about 1:30 in the morning. Everything was frozen above my left elbow and both my ankles. And it's extreme pain. You couldn't even touch the tips of my fingers.
Neville really has two different types of arthritis. He's had a long-standing degenerative arthritis in his back and some of the other large joints, which has given him most of his pain over the last 10 years. And then he developed a second type of arthritis about 15 months ago, which was quite dramatic for him in terms of pain and losing function.
I just didn't realise how it could affect somebody so quickly. I mean, we'd just got back from a weekend away with a caravan and it was fine. And to wake up at 1:30 in the morning completely in agonising pain that I couldn't even move my knees without screaming, it was just, I just couldn't believe it. You think it's going to be an easy fix, and then you start hearing the news of what's wrong with you. And you always just keep in your mind, it's right, Jack, but eventually you've got to admit that, you need more help than that. And, your GP, then, you sort of you've got to start seeing your GP more, get onto the right medication, get referrals from him to people who know more about these situations. And there's help out there for people, and I just didn't want to, I just wanted to keep going and think it'd go away, but it just got worse.
It's not uncommon to see people who have left things go for quite a period of time and just over a period of months to sometimes up to a year have slowly deteriorated with pain and lost function in a slow progressive manner. And usually there's some crisis point that tips them to seek a referral, whereas early treatment for most forms of arthritis is the most effective way to treat it. And people do better in the longer term if an early diagnosis is made and they're given the right treatment options.
You start to get depressed, especially I've always been an active person, and when I couldn't start to do things, you get depressed with it.
He suffers at night a lot, and people don't see him and they think that all's good with him, and they're not there at night when I come home and see him bent over, or when I get up in the morning and during the night how he has to turn over, and sometimes he can't turn over and you have to help him turn over, and they don't see all those things and they think that he's just your everyday guy who's got nothing wrong with him, and but he suffers a lot, and it's just sad when I know those days and I can see it in his face, and then he has very, very good days, don't you?
Yeah.
And it just he does well, so I really am amazed with him how he copes, and I know what he's come from and what he does, and he really is tough. So
some days when you wake up, you just, you feel so down, and you don't really want to do anything, but you've got to, and that's the way I drive to it, is to not sit around and cry over it, get myself up and do something and try and get my mind off. But it'll keep coming through, it'll try and beat you, it'll keep coming through. But try and beat it by getting out, doing something, instead of sitting aside.
The patient's mindset or perception of their current situation, even on a daily basis, is crucial to how they cope with their chronic pain or arthritis. So it is a key element of long-term management.
He has really, really bad days, and I know when he's depressed and he's down, and there's nothing you can do for him, and you have to let him go, and you have to let him think it through, and your heart wants to help him, but you can't, and you just got to let him do it. He's just got to work his own way through it. So there are days when you really do feel sad and support, there's nothing you can do, and just let him go, and he takes his time, and then you might go to work and come home and he's fine in the afternoon, or he might still be the same, and you wait for the next day and the next, and then he's fine again and he's back to his old self, ain't you? Yeah. So, but he's gone from being a really, really jovial, joking person over the years to sometimes being a sad person, and it'd be nice to have him back what he was, but you take the good with the bad, and when he has his good days, we're out there and doing everything, and when he has bad days, well, we just put up with it.
There are two attitudes that the patient themselves can have, which will improve the situation quite considerably. The first is that they need to have a positive outlook, which will help them cope with the pain better, and then secondly, be proactive in their own management plan and take control of the situation. The first step is to go and see a general practitioner to get a clear diagnosis and understanding of the problems, and then a whole heap of spokes can come out of that hub, which will be important to the long-term management of that pain.
We've opened for Open Garden Australia on 4 occasions. I had a lot more up and go in me when we first started, but things slowly deteriorated and gone downhill, and I'm a lot more restricted now to what I can do, and there's a lot more out there I'd like to do. The doctor always says to me, and I think it's said to me a lot, pace yourself. But sometimes I overpace because I want to either get the job done, I want it done myself, I don't want to rely on someone else doing it because I never have. We just try not to let the barriers keep us back on what we want to do and enjoy. The wife and myself love travelling, and there's times like, it took us 8 hours to do actually it was nearly 9 hours to do a 4.5 hour trip, but we did it. Well, I just had to get out every 50 kilometres, 40 kilometres.
There's 4 key messages from Neville's stories to managing and coping with his pain in the longer term. The first one is that he's adapted his environment so that he can get on and do some things on a daily basis. The second thing is that he's set realistic goals to do enjoyable things at a regular sort of intervals. The third thing is that he's got great support people around him. And lastly, he has a good GP that he's in regular contact, who has referred him on to the appropriate network of support.
I always look at that there's someone out there worse off than yourself. The old saying, like, whinge because I had no shoes until I saw a man that had no feet.
If you have arthritis and you live in Australia, call our helpline 1800 011 041 to talk to a health professional and arrange a free information pack to be sent to you.